busy doing VoIP stuff. But thankfully, Nikita decided that the day after Christmas was the better date to do it. So then I actually got to spend some time with my family. So
nice.
got a good meal in. We actually, I'm actually training up for a marathon, so I'm trying to eat healthy. So I actually lost weight over Christmas. I'm pretty happy about that. But yeah.
Excellent. All right. So what we normally do is we start things off with 3 random questions to get the juices flowing. So are you ready?
My juices are ready.
All right. Here we go. So toughest thing about being a dad?
Time management. The thing that, like, you know, I'll just go and watch a TV show. That doesn't happen. I've struggled to watch any sort of TV or movies or anything since being a dad.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right. Second question. What was the most interesting thing you saw in your trip to Texas?
Good question. Baddie. Baddie's a legend, actually. Is it? Dude, like, Texas was amazing. It was so many cool things. It really was just chill. I actually thought it would be a lot more like in the movies, but it was actually a lot better than what I actually preferred. If I had to go back to either San Diego or Texas, I'd go back to Texas.
Yeah, nice.
There was so much cool stuff. Look, catching up with all the gun nuts, that was awesome. San Antonio was a beautiful city. Fuck, I don't know. What was the question again? What was the most?
What was the most interesting thing you saw in Texas?
I don't know. I honestly, it was just very different style of life to what I'm used to.
Yeah. All right. And the third question, real or fake Christmas tree? Which path do you go down?
I can't show you my screen behind me, but I have a fake Christmas tree.
Okay.
You can get real ones in Australia, but they're just really messy. Like,
yeah.
I don't know many people that get the real ones, even though they do it every year.
Yeah.
Like, you see them for sale. I don't know anyone who's bought it.
Yeah. Yeah, like even when I had that pod with the Australian folks, yeah, there was like everybody was just fake Christmas trees, except for Rhino. That was it. He had a real one, and that was it out of the crew.
Yeah, no, not one of the things that I would buy.
Yeah. All right. So last time we chatted, you know, we had the team and no Anton, but he did have some questions for us, and it was good to catch up with you then, and nice to see you again, dude. How's
Always
everything
good to see
going?
you. Been really busy. I'm trying to just balance out life so I can actually be a dad as well. Like a bit talking about that time management stuff. So, this is the first year I've actually put a structure together of how I'm going to work. I'm actually not working weekends anymore. I'm not doing a 9 to 5. I'm doing a 4 to 4. So 4 a.m. to 4 p.m. is my work hours. So I'm a little bit early today. Won't hold it against you. But yeah, 4 a.m. to 4 p.m. is my work hours. I can work every minute of those hours. But at 4 p.m. it's time to go home. And I do that Monday to Friday. So I got a 60-hour work week. And then outside of that, it's time for mum and bubs pretty much. So that way I can and enjoy time with them. But in this year, I'm doing the trip that I wanted to do in 2020. So that was
the European one?
Correct. So with my wife and I sat down last year and we're like, I always want to do that 2020 trip. And I'm going to be 60 years old one day going, I friggin' wish I did it. So we put a plan together so how I could do my own version of it next week. And next year. And now it's this year. So the idea is I'm doing 3 5-week trips, and each of those trips are for different areas of Europe. And I'm going to be going pretty hard. There's a group of 4 of us. Michael, my neighbor, Stirred Decky, which is another content creator on Twitch, and also a guy named Jared, who's a Canadian, lives in Australia.
Nice. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So now, all right, let's talk Michael for a second. So do you think Michael had any idea what he was in for when he moved in next to you, or you moved in next to him?
I moved in next to him. Like, it wasn't like right next door. It was about, you're talking feet. I don't know, a couple 100 feet down the road.
Yeah.
It's like a dozen houses down the road. Probably not even that, actually. So yeah, to be honest, he thought I was unemployed because when I met him at it was like a music gig for Nathan Cavallari. And after we were talking to Nathan, and Michael and his wife were selling the merchandise for Nathan. And so then they came up and we started talking. And yeah, Yeah, we just realized that we live literally right next door to each other. And because of that, we're like, oh, let's hang out. So I invited him around for a barbecue one time. And then after that, he just said, oh, what do you do? Oh, I play video games. And he goes, oh, fair enough. And we would just play board games and watch the football together. Yeah. Like, he thought I was unemployed because obviously who the fuck just plays video games?
Right.
So, yeah. And then slowly our friendship built, and now he's sleeping in my spare room.
Yeah, little did he know he'd be on camera drinking beers from all over the world, involved in skydiving adventures with a gaming chair,
getting his chest waxed.
Music videos.
Yeah, it's been good fun.
Oh, yeah, you guys play well off each other. It makes for really fun videos.
We actually sat down last night and watched probably about 3 hours of YouTube videos of people that have been traveling just to get.
Yeah,
it wasn't even like inspiration, but just we were looking at camera angles mostly. Like, how do they film it? Like, what's their filming tactics? We really want to do a good trip. We're going to start a new YouTube channel for that, where we're going to just tell a story. It's not really about, getting views or making money or anything. It's literally just to tell a good story. So at the end of the trip, I've got the idea is to have a dozen stories from the trip, and just something I'm proud of, a piece of work that is just. If anyone was like, what have you done in your life? I'd be like, that's my work, my masterpiece.
Yeah. Nice. That should be good, man. And
not to
how many
mention all the
trips
other
did you
shit
say
I've
you're
done.
doing? Oh, God. Well, that's
three.
the charity work and everything. Okay.
3 trips. Was there a question?
Yeah. What areas of Europe are you targeting?
Literally everything. The first trip will be southeast. Everything east of Italy. So from Italy all the way down to Turkey, up to Ukraine, and then back across to Italy. Oh, so wow. There's about 15 countries in there. We'll probably get to about 12 of them. Each trip, the aim is to do about 10 to 12.
Yeah.
Nice. After the first trip, the second trip will be mostly the northern part. So the first trip's in March, April. So it's a bit cooler still. But March, April, the second trip will be June, July, and it'll be nice and warm. So we're going to go to the UK, including Scotland. Someone's like, are you going to go to Scotland? I'm like, that's in the UK. So go to UK, Ireland, Northern Ireland, go across to Greenland, across to Norway, Finland, Sweden, Denmark. I think we'll probably do Austria or Poland in that trip. And that'll be about that trip. The problem with that trip is Sweden, Finland, and Norway, we've got a lot of driving to do. There's a lot of things we want to do there. So we'll probably get bogged down for maybe even 10, 15 days just on those 3 countries. But besides those countries, we can punch out the UK in like a fucking 15-minute drive. It's not big at all.
Yeah. And now, are you planning on doing any mountain climbing too? I think last time we talked, that was going to be... Oh, wow. Okay.
So we'll be going to climbing the highest mountains of each country as we're going, and then getting stories from in between. Oh, and then the third trip, we're going to Netherlands, Belgium, Germany, Luxembourg, probably do Portugal, Spain. I'm missing stuff, but kind of like the third trip, we've got about a 2 to 3 week area not planned yet, just so we can go like, what do we miss? What do we wish we could see better?
Man,
huge. It's a big endeavor, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Cool.
End of next week, I go to Indonesia. So,
oh, wow. What's happening down there?
Well, it's a bit of a trial run. We're all going to catch up. We're going to go climb a volcano. So I want to live stream. Oh, by the way, this is all live streamed. I want to climb a volcano next. It'll be literally the end of next week. We go there. Should be climbing a volcano. And then we'll have about 3 days of live streaming through the markets and the cultural sites. But it's more just an opportunity for us to really figure out what equipment we're taking.
Like a test run.
And just get everything ready to go.
Yeah. So now, did you ever think, from that first time you hit that go live button, your life would bring you to this path now where you could do some of this really cool shit?
So when I first clicked go live, my goal was make friends was the first thing I wanted to do because I was very lonely after leaving the army. didn't have a lot of friends where I lived. Well, I had no friends where I lived, and most of my friends that played video games didn't play video games anymore. So the first objective was to make friends. Made a lot of friends, big tick there. And then the second objective was to try and build a following for my Europe trip, because I was always doing the Europe trip.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, if I got to 20,000 followers, I think that'd be a pretty good goal. I got 3 years.
Yeah.
When I went to Europe, I had, I think, 800,000. So
it's amazing. And now, speaking of before you went live, so you served in the military. That was your. How many years did you do that?
8, a little bit over 8 years.
Yeah. And then prior to the military, I think were you in the fire department?
No, after I left the military, I joined up as a firefighter. There's depending on where you are, there's full-time firefighters and there's what's called part-time. There's also volunteer. Yeah. It's different to volunteer. Part-time, you still get paid, and you're part of the Metropolitan Fire Service. But so you're held to a different standard, but you're not needed there because we service like an area of maybe like 3,000 or 4,000 people. So it's enough to need a dedicated fire service, but not so much that you need someone there 24/7. So I did that part-time whilst I started my streaming career.
Nice. And now, from a video game standpoint, where did video games start for you? Like, late in your teens, or was it like, early years?
I grew up as a kid playing video games, but it was more like, I don't know, like I played like stuff from Atari to Commodore 64, Sega Mega Systems, like the old school ones. But it didn't really take off. I remember the first computer game I played was Total Annihilation. And then that got me into RTS games, and then it really got up. I really got into it with Half-Life. Half-Life was where I got fully into like being addicted to video games. But then I also played a lot of console games. So, from the Nintendo, Super Nintendo. I'd never played I never owned an N64, but a PlayStation 1. Holy shit, I played like so many games with that. Might have been helpful that a mate had a little CD-ROM burner.
Nice.
but I played a lot of PlayStation games.
Yeah, nice. Speaking of Total Annihilation, I just was reading yesterday. There's a new version coming, or some freeware version coming that looks amazing. So that one had a special,
that is, to me, it was just one of those games that was like, I never played against players, obviously, because there was no internet back then, or if it was, it was just by the elite, I guess. But they had Supreme Commander that came out after it, and for me, that was those two games I played a lot.
Yeah, nice. And over the years, what were the games that really stuck out for you? Half-Life, one of your favorites?
I played Half-Life probably more than any game until Tarkov. Because it was one of those games that all your mates would bring their computers around and you could all play all night.
Yeah.
And then once internet got good enough, like I had like a 200 ping, but on dial-up. But like I played that game so much online. And then Counter-Strike got on the scene. I played all the mods. So Half-Life includes like Data Feet. Like, what was it? What was the one where it was Natural Selection, Team Fortress? There was so many. I can't think of them all. You got me on the spot. Like all those mods I played, and then obviously Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike I used to play against bots by myself so much. And then then the normal, like the local tournaments started happening. I don't have them out at the moment because I'm still starting to set up this house, but I've got all the local tournaments. So I've got like medallions from winning all the tournaments and stuff.
Oh, nice.
Cool. It was actually this really cool one. I spoke about this somewhere, and they actually contacted me. Like one of the guys had watched my stream or a video or something. There was this LAN party called the POV Smash Up. The Prisoners of Violence, and the POV Smash LAN. And it was, if you won the tournament, the prize was they got an old CRT monitor. So it was just the old big brick monitors. And then they had a sledgehammer. And the winner got to smash the CRT monitor with a sledgehammer. And I shit you not, hitting that with a sledgehammer is the bassiest sound. It's so cool. But like
because that tube is sealed and it's a vacuum tube, and big old pop.
But the thing was, like, this is before like OHS existed, right? Like,
Yeah.
So like we're like kids. Like I was like 14, 15 years old when I'm winning these tournaments. And like you'd smash it in glass. It'd be going everywhere. We'd be doing it on a school oval at night time, like no lighting or no good lighting. It was just, yeah, it was pretty funny.
Oh my lord. And now, when it comes to the streaming, what were the first few games you started to stream?
I've only really streamed Tarkov from the start. I started
Oh,
playing
okay.
Tarkov with streaming. So like
Oh, no way.
I bought Tarkov in June 2017. I was like, oh, this is too expensive. I'm not going to buy the EOD. Because before June 2017, you had to have EOD to play it. Like there was just no way. And I was like, 140 US dollars. That's like 230 Australian. There's no way I'm spending that kind of money on Tarkov.
Yeah.
Particularly when like you had no real footage of what it was like. I remember popping into someone's stream, but it was like this is before I even really knew what Twitch was. But then I went away with the army for my last like 2 months. I went overseas and translated, and I came back a civilian. Literally, like on the plane, I was like, I'm a civilian now. I shouldn't be on this plane anymore. And I get back and I moved out to the country, and I was like, all right, I'm going to play this game, and I'm going to try to play Tarkov. So that was the first time I played Tarkov.
Oh man! Now, how did you find the game? What was your path to the game? Was it some friends or just some videos you saw?
I don't remember. Someone in the army told me about the game because everyone was really, really keen on PUBG at the time, and they're like, "Oh, you should check out this game. This game from Tarkov." I got no idea who it was. I got a feeling I know who it was, but so that's not true. I do have an idea of who it could be. But I remember just checking it out and going, oh, I'll just think about that.
Yeah. And now, what in the end, what was the thing that Tarkov had that hooked you into it?
Everything. Okay, at the very start, it reminded me of Half-Life. So if you ever played Factory back in the day, it was very fast paced. Like it was, and it wasn't like you died in the first bullet. There was no face hitbox. So if someone was wearing a Kiva, which was the best helmet in the game, if someone was wearing a Kiva and you shot them in the face, they didn't die in one bullet. So you'd be running around Factory and you'd hear them and you'd try and flank them. It was very positional based and tactical. So I love the fact of that. It was like, I'm not a huge gun nut. Like I love shooting guns and all that kind of stuff, but the the customization of guns wasn't really the big draw to me. It was the actual the combat. So then I played, because it was when I started playing, there was Factory, Custom, Shoreline, and Woods. Woods was nothing like it is now. It was half the size. Even the lumber mill looked totally different. Shoreline was half the map. There was no resort. Everything to the tunnel side of resort was pretty similar. So like you had the cottages and the swamp area and the village. That was it. That was the whole of Shoreline, and down to the pier. The extracts were the pier and the tunnel, the bunker near the tank. That was the whole of Shoreline, and Customs was extremely narrow. Like there was no boiler. The whole boiler side was a lot smaller. There was no stronghold. Even the skeleton building in the middle of the map, that was never there.
Even that northeast corner was sort of shut. You couldn't go up there.
The hillside, there was none of that either.
Yeah.
So there was actually a point where at New Gas, that bridge was the only place you could cross to get to the other side of the map. So what I would end up doing is spending half my rate in that area because everyone had to pass it to extract. So you would literally fight every player that came through the map. It was a totally different game back then because it was very PvP orientated because it was just so narrow and there wasn't that much gear to pick from. Like, hey, you've got a Kiva and a fort armor, which is the 6B43 now. That was that was the best gear in the game. Until they started adding the fast MT, I think was the next helmet. So it was like back then it was just all about combat and moving around and positioning. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And now, if somebody's getting into the game today, what kind of advice would you give them? How should they approach Tarkov?
Probably don't look at streamers and say I should be able to play like that. That would be the worst thing to do. The Tarkov is one of those games where you'll get out of it what you want, in respect of you go into a game, appreciate the highs with the lows. So sometimes you're going to go into a raid and you'll find flash drive, and that will be the coolest feeling. Like, oh my god, I got the flash drive, I've got to get out. And then your heart's racing, and you're like, I got to get out of this raid, I got to get out of this raid, I got to get out of this raid. And that is like the most that is like an exciting experience. And then you'll die.
Yeah.
And you're like, so you got a really high followed by a low. Most games don't give you anything. Like most games you'll play and you'll sit there and like, you know, and it's like, well, at least you got to feel something during this fucking game. And I think that's probably one of the things that's really important about Tarkov. Like if you want like hard advice, like ammo is more important than the gun. You know, everyone dies, you know, just like understand that everyone dies in Tarkov. Yep. And knowledge is more important than fucking being able to click heads in Tarkov. But but in all seriousness, like you don't play video games or most people don't play video games to be the world's best. Like if they do in Tarkov, you're never going to be there because it's just not possible. Because there's no way to determine that. But with Tarkov, it gives you a lot of feeling, and in my opinion, just appreciate the highs with the lows. And the first time that you kill. The first time you kill a geared player, you'll have that excitement like, oh my God, I just killed a geared player. And then you go to that person, you go to loot them, and you're like, holy fuck, what is this gear? I've never seen this gear. This is insane. And you're excited, you're exhilarated, you know, all those great feelings. You don't get that normally in other video games. And Tarkov's the best at replicating that kind of feeling. The problem is it's like chasing the fucking dragon, right? Like for someone like me, like I think I just about hit 10,000 hours streamed with Tarkov. And that's not including all the stuff I've done off stream. For me to get that same feeling, something pretty crazy has to happen. Like I have to find a couple of really important items and get attacked by players and, you know, have a near-death experience whilst also there's an earthquake happening at my house. Just to like even feel a sense of like, you know, sensation.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to ask you. After the, you know, thousands of hours you have into this, you know, does your heartbeat get up there? Does the adrenaline, does the pucker factor happen anymore, or you just need a whole bunch of things now?
Not a lot. Oh, I generally have my most enjoyable experiences now from VoIP. Literally the game itself. This wipe I've been very frustrated at scavs, but in general, like I don't really get those same sensations because I've played it so much. I'm desensitized to it, and that's just a natural outcome of playing a video game so much. And if there's people out there after 10,000 hours that are like screaming with excitement, good on them. I envy you. But for me, it's like if I have a really cool interaction, that makes my day. You know, like if I don't know, like I shot at someone yesterday or the day before, and because I said, "Hey man, I'm just trying to get something done," and he killed the scav near me, and I wasn't sure if he was going to shoot at me or not. So he poked his head out, and I shot at him, and he screamed at me like, "You fucking piece of shit!" Like, you know, like, "Oh, you reckon said ceasefire?" And I'm like, "Sorry," and then I'm running, it's like, "Get back here!" And like to me, that is like 100 times more exciting to me now than if I killed the guy straight without even talking. You know, like if I just went and then I killed him, or you know, like he kills me or whatever. Like I just don't feel any excitement from that anymore. If I'm getting spawned by a squad, it still gets some excitement, but you get the point. Like it's VoIP should be in every video game, in my opinion, if it's suitable. If that makes sense. Like,
yeah. When VoIP was announced, there was a lot of people were nervous about it, but it has, just accelerated the excitement and added so much to the game.
Yeah, I honestly think I think it should have been in the game sooner. Okay, like go watch a YouTube video or a highlight of anything, and if there's no VoIP involved, you've already seen it. Like, don't you think? Like, if in Tarkov, it's pretty much now at the point where it's like, I've already seen something like this.
Interaction is like that changes every video now.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
Yeah. And now, so when you approach, wipes, what is your wipe strategy? Do you go questing? Do you just look for the new stuff?
So, back in like 2018 to like 2019, I was all about get to everything done as soon as possible.
Yeah.
I remember in 2019, I think it was when Reserve came out. I think it was October 2019. When Reserve came out, I didn't even play Reserve until I had max traders. Like, and I did it pretty quick. It took me about a day or two, but I was like, get my stuff done, then focus on the new content. And that was like just I loved I used to play a lot of Path of Exile before Tarkov as well.
Yeah.
Even at the early days of Tarkov, still played it off stream. And they got like speedrunning events and all that kind of stuff. So I actually really enjoy. It's not about beating other people. It's about doing the game as efficiently as possible myself. So generally it's just racing myself. I used to do on stream. I used to race myself to see how fast I could get max traders. I think the fastest I ever did was 12 hours and 20 minutes with assistance, and I think 17 hours without. And I'm tempted to do it again. I'm very tempted to do it again with assistance just to see how fast, with all the newest changes. But it was never about beating other people. It was all just about me seeing if I could do it, like getting to 40 in one stream, and that was like really hard back in the day. There wasn't that many quests. But yeah, so now the most recent wipe, I did one raid of Woods to get Jaeger unlocked, and then I did the first 80 raids on Streets, and I just explored it. I looked at every building, had a heap of fun. The only reason I stopped doing Streets around the 80 raid mark was my prepper wouldn't level up because I did the pistol kill quest, I think it was, Stirrup, and it reduced my rep with prepper and it wouldn't go to the next level. And I wanted I wanted to be able to use prepper on the next level. So I think I did a couple of prepper quests real quick and then got back onto Streets for another probably 30 raids or 40 raids before I go on with other quests.
Yeah. Okay. And now, overall, what's your thoughts on this new patch on Streets? And
there's a half an hour rant video if you're really interested. I remember recording the video and I looked at the fucking time and I'm like, holy shit, I've been ranting for half an hour. I think the first like 9 minutes of the video is the positives and there's like 20 minutes of just ranting. Look, all the new content is great. Content-wise, they hit the mark 100%. The issues are obvious with stuff like, the lag, rubber banding, and desync of Streets.
Yeah.
The sound is so confusing now, it's impossible to tell. When I hear sound now, I go, yep, someone's here. That's really the only gauge you got. And then the scavs, they've done something to the scavs, and they just, if you not, you have to pay attention now to a scav. It's no longer just, oh, that's a scav over there, I'll just go and kill him. It's like, that's a scav over there, I'm going to hide behind this cover, slow peek out, and take a well-aimed shot. Otherwise, I'm fucking losing my armor or dying here. So, and I don't agree with that at all. So, for example, I spoke in my video, but there's like a scale of like AI in the game. Like the scav boss is right on the far end of the spectrum. We're being like a killer. Like you see killer, like I'm in the fucking, I've got to bring my A game. Seeing a scav should not be like, oh, I'm about to fight fucking killer, I need to bring my A game. Obviously, you should give a fuck, but not in that. So the idea I've got, or my thoughts about scavs in Tarkov should really be based around, they should be giving away your position. They should be an inconvenience, not a massive threat. So like if I'm running past and a scav sees me and he shoots at me, the first half a dozen shots should just miss. Like, or at least like maim at most. Because the idea is it gives away my position to other players, so then it incites more PvP.
Yeah.
If I see a raider or a goon, different story. Those ones should fuck me up straight away. They should be like, holy shit, that's a raider or a goon. I need to get a cover and run or fight him. I think a perfect example that happened, I think yesterday or the day before, I bumped into a player. We had an engagement. I was talking where I ran. I was like, no, I can't take this guy on. I start running away, and then I walk around a corner and I hear a scav go, chop, chop, like he said a word. I can't remember what fucking word it was, and then instantly killed me. Like it was like double PS round to the chest. And it was like, hang on, this player was chasing me. This whole scenario has been ruined by just a random scav that was on the map that instantly beamed me. And it's like, it's just, it breaks what could have been a really great experience into just frustration.
Yeah, it breaks that immersion that Tarkov brings so well.
Yeah. Like they're dialed in way too much. Like another thing that happened yesterday was like I was on Lighthouse. I was on the way to the extract, and the guy in the 50 cal, the AI on the 50 cal, shot me through the fuel tanker. Like you could see the sparks coming through the fuel tanker as he shot me, and it's like, what the fuck? Like it's just stupid. Like it's
yeah.
So whilst I've ranted very hard, even just here, but overall, the content side of things are great. I loved how they implemented the hideout. The hideout with the wall. They didn't just make it say, hey, just upgrade your fucking hideout. You'll have the gym all sweet, yada, yada, yada. No, they made it like a bit of an event. Like, oh, there's like a whispering wall and it's like seeping out moisture onto the floor. And what is going on here? Like, we all kind of guessed it would be the gym behind there.
Right.
But, you never know. It could be a dead body. Just fucking...
You don't know,
You just don't know. But like a new player or someone who doesn't keep up to date with all the latest information would be like, what the fuck is this wall? So, like I think that's really a really cool way of implementing a new part of the game. And I like the fact that they made it so there's enough room to put more stuff in there. The firing range, awesome addition. Have you seen it at level 2 and 3 yet?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so the firing range at level 2 has your paper targets that you can bring in and out. So they got the paper targets, and you can shoot them, and you can reset them. You can there'll be at different distances. You've got little computer monitors that you can watch the far distance targets. It's actually really cool. And then level 3, it's a full fucking pop up system. You can have where it moves stuff around. It's actually really well done. Probably better than I've seen in most games. And it's got a scoring system in that if you want to do the scoring system, but at least with the if you just want to try out some guns or choose to, it's a really great way of practicing your hip fire without point fire if you don't want to use a laser and stuff. And people are like, how do I get better at hip fire or point firing? The pop-up targets is a great scenario because that way, literally, as they're popping up, you can be turn, shoot, shoot. And there's even got ones that are like the paper ones standing up top. So really, really good way of practicing your point firing. So I think that's going to be, or it is a massive, great addition to the game. Streets, best map in the game. The only reason I don't see it overwhelmed by the nasty cheetah boys is the fact that the loot's not the greatest, but at the moment, that's kind of good. It gives me an opportunity to explore.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
But by saying the loot's not the greatest, there's still plenty of loot on the map. It's just barter trade items, food, weapon crates. You got to actually search for it. It's not just run to this point and grab all this high-tier loot.
It's not like farming labs or anything like that. You've got to explore.
Right.
Yeah, nice. And now, your first few runs, your first few raids, what are you grabbing the M4 and you just going in or do you what is your starting loadout for the first couple of
I went bare and I pretty much just pressed ready. I think I just made sure I had all my meds and then I just pretty much went ready.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Oh man.
I don't think I did anything different because I just wanted to get in there. It's exciting. Right. I want to be on the street.
Yeah, everybody was pumped up for Streets, and we probably saw a lot of old people return to just see what it was, what's the excitement was going to be.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Now back to streaming for a little bit. So you went live to make friends and whatnot. So over the months and whatnot, you saw your viewership grow and whatnot. How was that first time you got rated? Your numbers went from X to triple X. Were you prepared for that growth, or it was just like?
Before I had partner, my biggest host was about 40 people.
Yeah.
I grinded. I grinded really hard. I made a YouTube video every day, 5 days a week. I made a YouTube video for 5 days a week, and I streamed 8 hours a day, pretty much every day. And I constantly, best thing you can do if you're a content creator out there, get a notebook and pen, put it down next to your fucking desk where you can reach while you're streaming. And if anyone has any actual constructive criticism, put the fucking note down and work on it later. I honestly, like, just after every stream, I just kept trying to improve stuff. Hey, your green screen's flickering a little bit. Like, see how my arm will like disappear here.
Yeah.
It's because I'm just using the Zoom background drop.
Right.
But like, you know, I would make sure that's fixed for the next one, or, you know, like anything you could improve, always try to improve. Treat it like a business, you know? But yeah, I think the biggest host that I can remember early on, I'm only guessing. I know Clean and that hosted me a few times early, or Smoke. Like I'm saying, when I had a couple of hundred viewers at this point.
Yeah.
But I remember the biggest one was Shroud, which would have been around 2018, 2019, and Shroud hosted me with about 10,000. And one of the things I can give you as advice, if I or someone that's got sizable numbers raids you, first thing you should do is get into a raid. The very first thing.
Yeah.
They don't want to see you sitting on a menu saying thank you. So what I did was I was literally putting my loadout on, and I rushed the rest of the loadout, and I just slapped into labs. And I got into labs, and I shit you not, it was like, have you seen Old School with Will Ferrell?
Yes.
So you know how it's like he's doing the debate, and he's like, switch it, like goes into a different state of humanity, and then he just like rifles off a heap of things for the debate. That was me on labs that raid. I literally was running around with like an MP7, killed all the players, killed all the raiders, all in the first like 5 minutes, and everyone was just like, "What did I just see?" And I'm confident there's probably still people that are following me from that day because I actually showed them what I was capable of, and I showed them some cool stuff.
Nice.
So that's probably the best thing. But you can do if you get a big raid is get into a raid. Talk the whole time, explain who you are and what's going on and where you're up to and all that stuff. But don't just sit there and say, thank you for the followers, thank you for the, like, be courteous to the host. Hey, thanks for the raid. Hope you had an amazing stream. Yada, yada, yada. Get into a raid.
Yeah. So 2 things. The Twitch partner, when you're hear your Twitch partner story, but first, if you're starting out today, Pestil.
Hold up, my can you go again? My audio just plays up sometimes.
All right. So you're starting out fresh today, your first time going live. How would you approach it today versus back then? Any different, or knowing what you know, focus more on the YouTube side of things, shorts? What would your strategy be?
Do you know the content creator, Mr. Gibbon?
Yes.
Probably him. I do exactly what he did. Grinding out on Twitch is not the strategy now. There is no way that would be the strategy. Probably something about, I would honestly say something along the lines of focusing on shorts to just get some content out there that's actually going to get views. Because like you put out a YouTube video, unless it's something that no one's seen before, no one's really going to click it. No one cares about your opinion unless you're known. There's YouTube videos, guides out there way better than mine. People will still click mine because they know who I am.
Right.
Then, so I would say the shorter format content is way better at this moment for discoverability. And then the hardest part is transitioning that into actual, like a actual community. I think, I can't remember where I was. I think it was an interview with Mr. Beast's manager, but the issue a lot of the TikTok creators are having is they'll have, like 3 million followers on TikTok, but then no one will actually be following them as a community member. So they'll do a merch drop or something like that, and no one will actually buy it or anything like that. So
all right. And now your Twitch partner story. How did you, when did you find out? And I guess how did you find out? What was the story?
Well, no, one more comment, because I feel like it reiterates to you, and I think you could actually benefit from this. You don't have to take the advice, but like even if you're doing a podcast, like you should be putting out shorts. Like, I'm not a big fan of like just shorts is the way. There is other ways, but you've already got the content. You just got to get a couple of snippets, put it out as a short. Exactly. YouTube's done a really good job now that separates shorts on the feed from the main thing. So it's like, why not? So.
Actually, I took that advice. When you guys were on the team, were on the pod, I had Slush Puppy, And you never know what you're going to get when you talk to Slush. And he was talking
True.
about killing kangaroos, and I took that and threw it up there. And yeah, it's amazing because, like you said, you have all this content and you can just slice it up.
Exactly, and it's already there. Like it's not much extra work. You're already in the editing lab, cutting it all up anyway.
Right.
Sorry, question. Twitch partner.
Yeah, your Twitch partner story. What's
what ended up happening was I grinded to the numbers required, which was 75 concurrent and I don't know, a certain amount of hours stream or something. I don't even remember. Pretty much 75 concurrent was the main one. And then I applied, but my actual application got lost in the mail.
Oh, no way.
What happened was Twitch had restructured their backend servers from the old Justin TV to Twitch, because Twitch used to be called Justin TV before Twitch. And so what happened was I applied, heard nothing for a week or two, then Slush applied, Slush got partner. I was sitting there like, well, I haven't even heard back. And then Slush got an email that had my name in it saying, welcome, like new partners. I was like,
oh, jeez.
Righto. And then so I got a message from someone who's the Twitch, he was the Twitch manager for ANZ. He goes, oh, check your dashboard. And it was like, congratulations, you've been invited to the Twitch partner program.
Nice.
And so it was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's cool.
That was the day I got partner. I think it was like May 2018. It took me about 4 months of taking streaming seriously.
Yeah, nice. All right, so I want to talk something that's really cool and special about, I think, what BSG and the Tarkov community brings to the table. And it's the charity. You know, if we look back to when you got that amazing December, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, you know, your views exploded and you were doing your charity for Starlight. First of all, what is the Starlight charity?
Starlight Children's Foundation Australia is a children's charity that they help seriously ill kids just be kids. So, for example, if you're in a hospital, you're really sick, they'll have opportunities for the kids to actually enjoy their time as a child in the hospital. So, got Starlight Express rooms. It's pretty much like a games room that kids go to. They're really, really well set up. Arts and crafts, music, and then they've got video games and stuff in there too. Then they also got Starlight Captains. They're like the jesters of the hospital, and if the kid's too sick to go to the room, the jesters will go up to the actual kids, and so then they keep the kids laughing in that. And the stories I've heard are amazing. It's one charity I 100% could back without any doubt. And I think I've donated over $50,000 my own money. Actually, probably more now. And just really great. Like, give me 1 sec.
Yep. All right. I think we're going to do a show and tell here, possibly.
Like, we even went out of our way to...
the firefighter calendars.
We've got the firefighter calendars here. They're all... I got them to go out in the mail. I got a couple to go out in the mail.
Nice.
Yeah, I think the link's taken down now. We took it down at the end of the year, but you know, like I like making money for this charity. They got really low admin fees. I think they got it down to under 4% or 3% administration fees, which is fucking awesome. Like, there's charities out there at one point were getting like outed for doing 18%. You know, like
holy crap. Yeah, that's a business. That's not a charity.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So it's just great.
And
to
now
see.
overall, how much have you raised, your community raised since taking that charity under your wing?
In Australian dollars, I think we're around 1.8 million. I think in US, that's probably about 1.2.
Yeah.
Well, depending on the conversion rate at the time. Probably about 1.1 to 1.2 US.
Yeah.
Which is incredible.
It is absolutely incredible, gamers, from Twitch and streaming. And I think this comes back to what, our community, the Tarkov community has. It doesn't matter if you're S tier or just starting out. You've got everybody who's doing some sort of charity, and it's just so cool to see. And it's amazing. Yeah.
It really is amazing. And I love to see it. I know this isn't meant to be like an advice thing. And people don't want advice, but I always feel like the best way to raise as much money as possible for charity is not do them as often and try and pick one. Pick one
Yeah.
and learn everything about it. Because you asked me a question about Starlight, and I pretty much know the answer about it because I've met the head of Starlight multiple times. She's lovely.
Yeah.
I've spoken to multiple Starlight captains. The administration team behind the doors, like the closed doors that you'd never even see. I've been to
Yeah.
the fucking Starlight Express room. Like I know this stuff. So when someone goes, "Oh, why should I donate?" I can tell you why. And
Yeah.
I believe in the cause. And this is before I even had a child. Now I've got a child. Like I always thought, like, imagine going through some sort of shit time. Like we've all done it. We've all gone through something really fucking shitty in life. Now imagine doing that as a child whilst you're like
Yeah.
getting chemo. You're like,
Yeah.
fuck that. Like that's something I couldn't imagine. If that happens to my daughter,
Yeah.
like, I would want her to at least try and be a child at some time. Some point in
Yeah.
time.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's amazing how your life changes when you leave that hospital for the first time and you look in the back seat and there's this baby. It's like there's no user manual. Everything how you watch the news, it just changes everything.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I always, this is my kind of perspective on it. It's like there's some people out there that probably got away with raising kids that if they could do it, I could do it. You know, like,
Oh, so to the charity aspect, one final piece. Do you do you think Nikita or BSG understands of how many people they've affected because of this game that they've created and all the money and the careers that come from what has been created?
I don't think BSG would have actually honestly thought initially that their game would impact so many people's lives. Like,
Yeah,
I think 'cause my interview with Nikita was back in 2019 or 2018 when the first interview I had where I actually asked him about who he was, where he came from, how it got to where he was. And I
yeah,
think it started as a very small group of guys that just wanted to make this great game, and it got to where it is
yeah,
now. I don't think Nikita would have honestly sat down back then and gone, "Oh, we're gonna try and reach have millions of people that have bought the game and change their lives and set up people's lives through content creation." And there's times
yeah,
where I know when Nikita's really excited to see our reactions and how the
yeah,
community takes on new stuff. Like the night where there was a Twitter post of they zoomed in on my head and they were watching me. Like they were all sitting there just watching it, having a beer or vodka
yeah,
and enjoying their time. Like that's the fruit of their labor, sitting back and enjoying that.
yeah. Yeah, I still remember that night that day the drops happened and you hit 100,000 or 200,000 and chat was yelling at you to run commercials. It was just such a cool experience.
Yeah, that was the 2019 drops. I think I actually set
Yeah.
a trend across Twitch with that one. So
Yeah,
I was
that
like,
was
"You farm
pretty
me for
cool.
drops, I'll farm you for ad revenue." And it wasn't as much money as I thought it would be. I think I ended
Yeah,
up telling people how much it was. I think it was about $16,000 I made.
yeah,
But it was for me at that point. That was like I remember it was a large chunk of that monthly's revenue,
yeah.
and that was like a holy shit moment,
hmm It's amazing. All right. So we got some drops happen giveaways in chat right now. Some Pastilli merch is going down, and I think some possible keys for Tarkov merch. So keep your eyes on those. And Pest, we're coming to the end of our interview here. First of all, thank you so much for doing this. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to
And
be here.
yeah, and anything you want to give a shout out to that people should check out soon? Any new video coming? We got the European road trip happening. Will there be tour T-shirts?
I don't have socials for the new content yet. But if you are in Europe, keep an eye out because we will be going to nearly every country, and if you want to catch up, there'll be opportunities. The main thing I would say is the work that I'm going to put in this year isn't going to be very much primarily Tarkov focused, but it's going to be based around living life to the fullest and enjoying every moment that we've got. So for me, this is more of a gift to myself than to
Yeah,
you guys. But hopefully you guys enjoy the journey because I'm going to be doing a lot of fun stuff. I'm going to be live streaming a lot of random shit. Like there's going to be times where I'm going to be, driving a car middle of the night and there'll be a live stream going on in the background where like Sturdicky's just like, I wish we were fucking there yet. I'm so over this shit. or like, you know, we'll be climbing a mountain or a volcano or whatever it's doing. And it's just about us just going on a journey, you know, like kind of like the Fellowship of the Rings, you know, like, but we don't have a Mordor and we don't have a ring. Well, we got rings, but you know, like not the kind of drop into a lava pit. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah. All right. Or like the South Park episode where the boys had to return a certain type of movie. I don't know if you caught that episode.
God, maybe I can't remember.
Now, at the end of my podcast, I asked the guests to shout out somebody that they want to throw under the bus or somebody they recommend to coming on the podcast. Who are you throwing out there?
You've done Becky?
No, I haven't.
Becky.
Okay. There we go. We'll get her on. All right, Pest. Have a great rest of your. Well, I guess you got a long day ahead of you. Thank you so much for doing this, and thank you for BSG for letting us use this platform.
All right, thank you, BSG. Hey guys, I'm still playing on video games on my stream. Just saying.
So you're gonna kick off your stream now and wait.
Well, I'm already live, so I'm gonna be.
Oh, okay. Yes. Awesome, dude. All right. Well, that's it. And. So what task are you chasing right now? What quest? Anything in particular?
I don't know. I was going to start hardcore today, but I decided against it because I was too busy yesterday doing random life shit. So I'll start hardcore tomorrow.
Now, one thing about now, when you do your hardcore, are you doing no? Well, I guess everything is.
Oh, sorry, my audio's cut out again. Sorry, again. Am I doing what?
When you're running your hardcore, you're running solo, right? You're not teaming up with anybody?
No. It's all solo.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, because I think it was Dan Exert was on and we were talking about he was saying, when you do hardcore, when you're playing with mates, don't use Discord audio. Just use in-game audio. I was like, oh my God, that would be so hard, but very cool.
It's so much more fun. Like, so if I play with anyone on hardcore, they have to be doing a hardcore challenge and then we use in-game VoIP. It's most like I know there's some people that don't do it because of like, you know, they care too much about the fucking survivals and shit. But it's so funny when I'm standing there. Like I remember there was this time that Toast and I were playing together, and a guy was running up. I'm like, Toast, someone coming, quiet. And he's like, okay. There's no way this guy didn't hear us whisper. Like it was just like we're just like hiding in a bush, like you know, like. I don't know. For me, it doesn't matter about if we die. It's about the fun shit that happens, you know, and you can't replicate that stuff. It's like when I play with a viewer. If a viewer jumps into Ray with me, I'm like, all right, we're just using in-game VoIP. I don't use Discord at all. Right. Because it's so much fun. Like, I'm like, dude, is that you? Yeah, that's me. Yeah, fucking. You know, like.
And speaking of Toast Rack, dude, what a wonderful guy, you know. I'm so glad he came into this community and you guys hooked up.
Yeah, he's good. I've always been very thankful of how much he's helped out, and it's good to see him. He pops over a couple of times a year, so hopefully keep that tradition alive.
That'd be great, man. All right, well, hey, I'm gonna hang up the call. Thank you again so much for doing this, and it's always good seeing you, dude.
No worries, man. Catch you later.
All right, take care.
All right, chat. I'm gonna leave that meeting.
Happy 26th months. Keep up the amazing work.
How was that, chat? Nice little cheeky interview.